What happened to women on slave ships? These were the ships that carried millions of enslaved Africans across the Atlantic Ocean from the 16th to the 19th centuries during the transatlantic slave trade. During this period, women were especially vulnerable and exploited on slave ships. They faced many disgusting things that violated their dignity and humanity. Here are 5 examples of what they endured. Rape and sexual abuse. Women on slave ships were often raped and sexually abused by crew members, captains, or traders. They had no protection or recourse against their attackers, who saw them as objects of pleasure and profit. Some women were forced to become concubines or mistresses for their captors, who would impregnate them or sell them for higher prices. Some women were also forced to perform sexual acts with other enslaved men or women for the amusement of their tormentors. Rape and sexual abuse stripped women of their dignity, identity, and autonomy. They also disrupted their family and community bonds and exposed them to unwanted pregnancies, abortions, infanticides, and sexually transmitted diseases. Rape and sexual abuse were also used as tools of domination and control to assert the power of the white enslavers over the black enslaved. Women on slave ships were exposed to many diseases and infections that could kill them or make them suffer. They were packed tightly in filthy and crowded spaces where they had no access to clean water, sanitation, or ventilation. They were also subjected to harsh weather conditions such as heat, cold, rain, or storms. They suffered from diseases such as dysentery, scurvy, malaria, typhoid, smallpox, syphilis, and gonorrhea. They also suffered from infections caused by wounds, cuts, burns, or bites. Disease and infection were among the main causes of death during the Middle Passage. It's estimated that 15 to 16% of enslaved people died on the slave ships. Disease and infection also affected the crew members, who often contracted the same illnesses as the enslaved people. Disease and infection were not only biological hazards, but also economical and political ones. They reduced the profits of the slave traders, who lost valuable human cargo. They also influenced the relations between different nations involved in the slave trade or competed for resources and markets. Violence and torture. Women on slave ships were often victims of violence and torture by their captors or fellow captives. They were beaten, whipped, branded, burned, mutilated, or killed for various reasons, such as resisting, rebelling, refusing, or simply being sick or weak. They were also tortured with various instruments or methods, such as iron collars, chains, shackles, thumbscrews, hot pokers, knives, hooks, or fire. Violence and torture instilled fear and terror in the enslaved people who witnessed or experienced them. They also dehumanized them and denied them any sense of agency or dignity. Violence and torture were also used as tools of discipline and order to maintain the authority of the enslavers over the enslaved. It often provoked resistance and rebellion from the enslaved people who fought back against their oppressors. Starvation and dehydration. Women on slave ships were often starved and dehydrated by their captors or by themselves. They were given little or no food or water during the voyage, which could last for months. The food they received was often rotten, spoiled, or infested with worms or maggots. The water they drank was often contaminated with salt, urine, blood, or feces. Some women chose to starve or dehydrate themselves as a form of protest or suicide. Starvation and dehydration weakened the bodies and spirits of the enslaved people who endured them. They also increased their vulnerability to disease and infection. They were also used as tools of coercion and exploitation by the enslavers who controlled the food supply of the enslaved. Miscarriage and abortion. Women on slave ships often experienced miscarriage or abortion due to the harsh conditions they faced. Some women were pregnant when they were captured or became pregnant during the voyage due to rape or consensual relations. Their pregnancies were not respected or cared for by their captors or themselves. They often lost their babies due to trauma, disease, infection, starvation, dehydration, or violence. Some women also tried to end their pregnancies by using herbs, medicines, or physical methods. They did this to avoid bringing more children into slavery, to protect their health, or to resist their enslavers. In conclusion, These women on slave ships suffered unimaginable horrors and abuses, but they also showed remarkable resilience and courage. They used their knowledge, culture, and agency to resist and survive their enslavement. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about this topic. See you next time, and bye for now.